Hi, this is Amanda for Fairy Stamper, and today I'm going to show you how to use tea bags, yes, that's right, tea bags, for your card backgrounds. It's a fun mixed media look. So I'm going to start with doing some stamping, and then we will get to the technique. So I'm going to be using stamps from the new release this month, and we're going to start with the Teacup Condo. And I'm using VersaFine Claire in Pinecone for this. I figured we'll go with some nice browns for our card today. And I'll mostly be sticking with a monochromatic look with the browns, but I am going to have a few pops of colors here and there. So I want this ginkgo branch, again a new stamp from the release this month, to be sticking out of the top teacup for the Teacup Condo. So I did cut a small mask just to mask that top of the teacup. Top of the teacup, say that 3 times fast. Anyway, so I could make the branch come out of the top of the teacup. So I did use a little bit of post-it tape there to cut just the top of that mask off. So I could do that. No need to mask the entire Teacup Condo for this. I'm going to grab the T-word Collage, and this is the card front here that I will be using. So I'm just going to stamp the T-word Collage all over the front of my card front here. And this is going to be the start of the background that we will be creating for our card front. I'm going to stamp this 4 times to cover the entire card front. I'm going to offset it so it's not, the stamp doesn't line up in the same place all 4 times, if that makes any sense. And I did try to stamp it as close together as possible so there wasn't a seam. I did end up with a little bit of one, but my teacup's going to cover it. Well, actually I think it's the sentiment that covers that up. Anyway, it's going to be covered up with my images, so it's not that big of a deal. Plus the tea bags are going to cover that up too, and it's not going to be nearly as noticeable. So here is the tea bag. I did steep some tea, and then I took the staple out of the top and emptied the tea leaves out. And then here I'm just opening this up after the bag has dried, and we're spreading out the tea bag. I did steep 2 tea bags and dried them. And then I decided that I wanted the tea bags to be a little bit darker in color. So I took the tea that I steeped and I put it in a spray bottle. And then I'm spraying this, and I'm just going to take my heat gun and carefully dry it so I don't burn the tea bag. And it did get a little bit darker in color. I did that a couple times, and like I said, it did get a little bit darker. I suppose that if you wanted it darker, you would need to brew some darker tea or even use coffee maybe. So here is my card panel again, and I'm just going to ink blend just the edges with some vintage photo. That way the edges stand out a little bit more and will be a little bit darker under the tea bags when we collage these on here. Now, because my tea bags do not cover the entire card front, just 1 tea bag by themselves, that is why I did 2. And I didn't want a seam in the middle when I collage these down, so I'm going to crumple them up, and then I'm going to rip my tea bags. So I don't end up with just a straight seam when I glue these down. So I'm just going to rip them up in random little pieces here, and I will be using Distress Collage Medium in matte to do this. I have found that this does not reactivate Distress inks, and I don't think the VersaFine Claire would reactivate anyway, just because it is a waterproof ink. But I've had good luck with this glue. Your mileage may vary if you use a different collage type glue. Now, I didn't want to spread these out completely flat. I do want the texture, so I am just kind of dabbing them on there and trying to keep as many wrinkles as possible. But if you decide to try this technique, feel free to do whatever you want because it is your card. Now I'm going to tell you that I did not finish this card on screen because it was just, I did some very simple coloring to the teacups. I wanted them to remain white for the most part, so I did a little bit of shading on them. I colored in the little flowers and the doors, the little gears, that kind of stuff. Very simply with some gel pens, simple coloring, no real Nothing fancy anyway is what I'm trying to say. And then I just glued the teacups to my card front. I did use my brother's scanning cut to cut out the teacups. And I used the like a teacup sentiment and just cut that out with my paper trimmer and used a fancy corner rounder to finish that off. And I glued them flat to my card front. I did mat this piece here that I'm working on now on a brown piece of cardstock, and I just glued the whole thing flat to my card base. So nothing real fancy here, so I'm not going to finish this on screen. I'm just going to show you the finished card right here. It is an A2 card. I hope that you enjoyed the project today and can find a maybe strange use, but fun use of tea bags that have been used. The links will be in the description box below, as always, and have a great day.